So the long wait is just about over. The college football season is right in front of us, and because of that, I've been giving a lot of thought trying to figure out which players around the nation I think are in for a big year. And today, we need to talk about a wide receiver at the University of Oklahoma who took the nation by storm as a true freshman and has only ever proved how talented they are. But we need to discuss why I think this year could be a huge year for Marvin Mims and all the reasons that could attribute to that. Before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Do you agree with me that Marvin Mims could be in for a big year? And then let me know the other players you're watching. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification because I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it, and with the season right around the corner, you already know the content is about to go through the roof, and I would love to have you a part of what I truly believe is one of the best communities on the platform. But I digress. We need to jump into this because Marvin Mims is an individual who really put the nation on notice as a true freshman, coming to the Oklahoma Sooners and instantly displaying why he was so highly sought after as a recruit. Fast forward a year, and Marvin Mims had a really good sophomore campaign, getting 705 yards on only 32 receptions. But what's more impressive is he averaged 22.03 yards per reception. That number right there lets you know this guy has big play written all over him. And many in the OU fan base, I think, were confused as to why he didn't see more touches in this offense. He's someone that the nation knows how talented he is. We saw him do it as a true freshman. He only has continued to show his talent. Getting 22 plus yards per reception is an insane stat, and almost getting 750 yards on 32 receptions is just as insane. But nonetheless, Marvin Mims wasn't featured in the offense to the degree I think many people expected him to be featured. Fast forward to this year, and I think that's going to change because I truly do believe Marvin Mims is a player that's about to boom. And let's talk about some things because it is of my opinion that if we look at the past year for the Oklahoma Sooners, one of the biggest wins for Oklahoma, and certainly in my opinion, one of the biggest wins for Brent Venables, was the ability to keep Marvin Mims as an Oklahoma Sooner. Now, Oklahoma recruits well. They have got talented wide receivers, but Marvin Mims is a guy that has that next level ability, and he's shown it before. So if you're able to keep him there with all the turnover you're experiencing from coaching to the players that left in the transfer portal, you need some form of stability, and the best case scenario is having that stability in your most talented players, and Marvin Mims is absolutely one of Oklahoma's most talented players. So when Jeff Lebby, Brent Venables were able to convince Marvin Mims to stay at Oklahoma, that, in my opinion, is easily one of the biggest wins for the Oklahoma Sooners because it's going to allow them to do exponentially more on the offensive side of the football. The other reason I think Marvin Mims is poised for such a big season is who the new offensive coordinator is in Jeff Lebby. And if we actually go and check out Jeff Lebby's offenses at Ole Miss, he's had back-to-back 1,000-yard receivers. If we look this past season, Dontario Drummond eclipsed 1,000 yards for Ole Miss, and the season before that, Elijah Moore did the exact same thing. So what we do know about Jeff Lebby is he's going to get wide receivers the ball, and the one thing that I think really stood out to me with both Dontario Drummond and Elijah Moore for Ole Miss was their usage, because they got far more than 32 receptions. And if Marvin Mims is able to even average 17 yards per reception, but you just get him more work, he is going to put the nation on notice. And if anybody's sleeping on him, that's going to be their fault because he has that level of talent. Whenever I was really peering through the numbers for Ole Miss, which is something I've talked about before, one of the things that always stands out to me is how much Jeff Lebby utilizes the run. I mean, I've talked about this before. If we look at Ole Miss's offensive breakdown, they feature running backs. It's not just one guy. They're getting multiple guys involved, but one thing that instantly stood out to me was in that running back category, and you might be sitting there asking yourself, well, Ty, we're sitting here talking about Marvin Mims. So why is it that we're talking about the running back output at Ole Miss? Well, for a very specific reason, because I've been talking about Marvin Mims' usage. Whenever I go look at Jeff Lebby and how he called plays at Ole Miss, and then I go look at the numbers, he had a running back that had just as many touches in the passing game, Jerrion Ealy, as Marvin Mims did as a wide receiver. Why I bring that to your attention is because I have full faith and confidence that Lebby is going to get this guy involved in the offense. He will not be having 32 receptions. He will have exponentially more because Jeff Lebby has shown the willingness to give a running back 32 receptions. And Jerrion Ealy is an incredibly talented player. There is no debate from me on that fact. But Marvin Mims is a guy that I think Oklahoma is going to lean on. Because I talked earlier about how this is his third year in the system. It was huge, in my opinion, that Brent Venables, Jeff Lebby, and the Oklahoma Sooners were able to retain Marvin Mims. But when we fast forward to this season and what this means, he's someone that this entire wide receiver room can lean on. Now, there's also another name that I really love in this wide receiver room that I also believe could be in for a big year, in Theo Weiss. But at the end of the day, Marvin Mims has shown time and time again that he's got that next level ability. I just so happen to think that Oklahoma has a lot of wide receivers that are very, very talented, some very young, but nonetheless, if you have a guy that's the leader of that room, like Marvin Mims I think is going to be, it's only going to benefit the entirety of the room, because now in that room, there's someone that provides them stability. There's someone that provides them continuity. And what better piece to provide those factors than a Marvin Mims? Because I already know, the second I say this, people are going to have raised eyebrows and be heading towards the comment, but allow me a second to explain. The last reason I think Marvin Mims is in for a big year this year, aside from how talented he is, aside from the offensive production that he's been able to put up in the past, mixed with the production Jeff Lebby has shown us, and I think when you look in through that lens, writing's on the wall that he's going to have a big year. But the very last reason actually revolves around Dillon Gabriel, and something I talk about with Dillon Gabriel consistently. Whenever we look at Dillon Gabriel, he has a pre-existing relationship with Jeff Lebby, and that's going to help both Lebby and Gabriel in their ability to pick up the little nuances and intricacies in this offense, because I have no doubt Jeff Lebby has picked up new wrinkles after working with Lane Kiffin. I would certainly hope he has. No reason to believe he hasn't. But he already knows how to teach Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel already knows how Jeff Lebby teaches. So their relationship is going to be huge. But what that does provide for the Oklahoma Sooners is almost a conduit. And what I mean when I say that is because Dillon Gabriel has this level of understanding with Jeff Lebby, it's going to permeate. It's going to make it easier for everybody else to pick up what Lebby wants done, because there's another voice in the room that already understands it. And what better voice for that to be than Dillon Gabriel, a very experienced quarterback in college football who's had success and is now in a different situation where he's got talented pieces all around him, and he's the guy who has familiarity with the coach, which is going to allow him to increase his relationship with all those rooms, but also be looked at as a massive part of this team, which, look, he's the quarterback. He's going to be anyways, but he's now offering something in terms of continuity, in terms of understanding, that is huge for the Oklahoma Sooners. But another reason why I think Dillon Gabriel is going to be big for Marvin Mims is the experience he brings to the table. I am in no way, shape, or form saying that Dillon Gabriel is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was green last year. He hadn't played football in a year due to the pandemic, so he came in there having some time off, and he showed what high upside he has. But the one thing Dillon Gabriel has is the experience. He's seen a lot. He's played a lot of football, but I want to hear from Oklahoma fans. I want to hear from college football fans. Who are names not only on the Oklahoma Sooners that you think are due for big years this season, but let me know the names of the players around the nation you're excited to see, and we're going to do a whole little video series talking about the names you provide me, names I'm looking forward to, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So hop down, let me know the names you're looking forward to, let me know what you think Marvin Mims is going to do, and that's it. See ya.